to be here with us. So when Dr. Dickens, first of all, is Ms. Karen Harmon, and her topic is Perfectly Imperfect, followed by resources. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is our fifth Mothers on the Mission event. This is our virtual fair. We're very honored to have our special speaker, Ms. Karen Harmon, to be here with us. So when Dr. Dickens signed on, he's going to say a few words. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. As you know, I'm the academic success coach from Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Our mission is to support single mothers through mentoring, coaching, and resources. So this is a good network for us to listen to a speaker and ask her questions and discuss resources. Let me see, I'm gonna play this one. So our speaker today is Ms. Karen Harmon, and her topic is Perfectly Imperfect, followed by resources about some job openings and activities in town and STCC. Last of all, we will have a few minutes left for swap organization for Jonica and our officers to discuss a few items. So Karen's talk will be followed by a Q&A. So here is some resources I will discuss. So today we're celebrating our Mothers on the Mission 5th event, and we have the great honor to have invited Ms. Karen Harmon, and me and Jonica is going to join me in introducing Ms. Harmon. So Jonica, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Karen Harmon grew up here in Tulsa. After completing her bachelor's and master's degree,
I can't hear her.
Can you hear me now? Everyone able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Karen Harmon grew up here in Tulsa after completing her bachelor's and master's degrees. She made the decision to move to one of the poorest and one of the totally segregated communities in America, East Carroll Parish, Louisiana, to work in the education system where the need for her was great. Her goal was to work there for 5 years, but she ended up staying for 25 years instead. During that 25 years in Louisiana, she served as a high school English teacher, the principal of an alternative high school she started herself, and as an English professor at the University of Louisiana, the Dean of Liberal Arts and Humanities at Delta Community College. After retiring in Louisiana, she moved back home to Tulsa in 2012 and joined the staff here at Tulsa Community College as Associate Dean of Liberal Arts and Communications. She has also served as TCC as Director of Intercultural Engagement and Interim Dean of Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion. Karen has worked with corrections education both in Louisiana and here in Oklahoma, where she created literary journals, collections of prisoners' writings, including the journal Perfectly Imperfect, written by the women of George Kaiser's Women in Recovery.
Okay, thank you, Jonica. Karen has also received the following Outstanding Educator Awards: High School Teacher of the Year in Louisiana, Outstanding Educator presented by the Louisiana Senate Committee on Education, Outstanding Faculty Award in Louisiana Delta Community College. And here at TCC, she received the Professional Staff Excellence Award in 2018. Karen is now semi-retired, but is teaching writing foundations courses here at TCC for students who are struggling the most. But one of the most important points about Karen's life is that she accomplished these things as a single mom with 5 children. And also one thing to add is that Karen has received this Women's Foundation grant in 2018, and under her leadership, we worked together for the Mother's Mission on the events. She's also the founder of our SWAP organization. The one we're working on is called Students Who Are Parents. Now, with great honor, here is Miss Karen Harmon.
Hello, ladies. I can hear you somewhat. I hope you can hear me. And it's an honor to be here. As Joy said, we worked to get this grant and to start this program 5 or 6 years ago because we believe in the mission of it. Once in a while, people will ask me what is the hardest thing I've ever done, because I've had a number of leadership roles at different colleges and universities. And I tell them that the hardest thing I've ever done is to raise 5 children alone. I think you can relate to that. And to be raising children and going to college, that's a very, very difficult thing. It is admirable that you're here, you're college students. That's a wonderful thing. I want to tell you just a little bit about my past in your age group as a young mom, trying to figure all this out and first going to college. And then I want us to talk about the importance of internal dialogue, what that's all about. But first of all, I had a wonderful childhood. I had both my parents. They were wonderful parents. I have a brother and a sister who were fine people. Our family was very close, very well organized, very positive environment to grow up in. The only problem for me, and that's the right one, Joy, thank you. The only problem for me personally was that even though my dad didn't go to church, but he did think it was important for families to have a religion. And my mom was very, very religious, a part of a very fundamentalist religion. And I want to say from the beginning that I have tremendous respect for people of any religion who try so hard to live by what they truly believe in. But a part of our family's religion then that was difficult for me is the belief that college was worldly, and especially for girls, and that it would tend to turn you away from God and toward more worldly things. So for me personally, even as a very young person, even as a teenager, I struggled with those concepts. Girls were supposed to finish high school and get married and raise children. That was their role. And even though that was a role specifically of this religion, it also was in many ways the role of society in general at that time for women, that women were mothers and wives and really shouldn't expect different from that. In the religion I grew up in, even boys were encouraged just to learn a skill to support their family and then do that. So the idea of going to college, even though I thought about it all the time, the conflict for me was that it was wrong. It was wrong, that I would be doing something wrong. So I graduated from high school at the age of 16, and I married a 19-year-old boy and began having children. When I decided that as a single parent, a number of years after being married and divorced, when I decided that I really, really wanted to go to college, all of the people around me had the same basic belief as the people I grew up with. And even people who were not a part of the religious group were constantly saying that you can't do this. You're a mother. You are a single mother, and that was bad enough. But this is not something that you're supposed to do. This isn't right for you to do that. So it was a very, very difficult struggle. And I can tell you that my internal dialogue believed them. And so I would try to push it away from me, try to push it out of my mind, saying, I have the responsibilities of this, and my children were the most important thing in the world to me, and I can't do that. But one day, I just said to myself, I just could not do it anymore. And I said, I have to do it. And that's, it can't be wrong. It feels like it's right, no matter what. Any of you remember being in high school reading Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, things like that, back in those days? A little bit, yeah. Well, Mark Twain wrote during the days of slavery, and I want to use Huck Finn as an example of the decision I made and how it fits with what we're talking about. It was during the time of slavery, and Huck was asked by a slave man, Jim, was asked to help him escape. Well, that was breaking the law. And Huck believed that it was breaking the law because the law said it was illegal, and society around him said it was illegal. But one day, he changed his internal dialogue, and he just said, if it's wrong, and I'll just go to hell. But I've got to help Jim. And so he did it anyway. And of course, we know that that was the right thing to do. And that's kind of what I did. I said, I've got to do it. If I go to hell instead of heaven, then it will have to be, but I have to do it. Internal dialogue, ladies, is one of the most important skills a person can develop. And I want us to have a clear understanding of what internal dialogue is. And if you look at the slide that Joy has there for me now, there's a formal definition. But I want us to look at this and think about it, because we all have it, and it never stops. And it dramatically influences what we accomplish in life. My personal belief, there's a lot of research that agrees, but there are also people that don't agree. My personal belief is that 99% of what you accomplish, besides coming from hard work, will come from your internal dialogue. Now, here's the definition. The formal definition says it's a person's inner voice that occurs while the person is awake and also when they're asleep. It usually reflects both a person's unconscious and conscious beliefs and thoughts. So we all have it, ladies, and it never stops. It doesn't stop while we're asleep. It's not your dreams. That's a different thing. It's your subconscious that is continually thinking and processing. And then when you're awake, it's that voice that is constantly in there. You can't make it stop, because that's a part of being human. Your internal dialogue is always there saying things to you. It's saying things to you right now. It might be saying, never thought about that, or that's silly, or what do you mean 99%? What do you mean by this? But it is always there and it never stops. And it is a very, very powerful influence over every decision you make and how you view the things that you're doing and the decisions that you're making. Internal dialogue never shuts off. It's a part of you. It shapes how you think, how you act, and how you see the world. While your internal dialogue is always running, you can choose to ignore it or you can choose to listen to it. So you do have the ability to control your internal dialogue. It's not easy. It's a skill that you have to practice. And it takes practice. It takes time to learn how to listen to and then control that internal dialogue. And at first, until you are really focused on what you're doing specifically with it, let's stay on that one for a while, Joy. Thank you. It does take practice, and you might even find it difficult. It might be something that you struggle with while you're mastering it. And I don't know that any of us ever completely master it. But the more you practice it, the easier it will get. There'll be times when you go forward with it, you feel really good about it, and there'll be times when you struggle with it. Let me give you an example of this. Anyone ever go on a diet? Anybody? Shake your head or move your hand. Anyone join us on any kind of food plan? Like the keto diet is real popular right now. Okay. Well, it's difficult, isn't it, to stay on it? It's a struggle to stay on it because we're not in the habit of doing that thing. So you talk to yourself. You talk to yourself when you make the decision, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I do it, I can tell you personally, all the time. Okay? So you're making a decision. Your internal dialogue, you have changed it to say, yes, I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this food plan in place. I want to work on improving my health, want to stay healthy for my children, all of those kinds of things. But then you're hanging out with somebody, you went to buy groceries or met a friend maybe for lunch someplace, and your internal dialogue will trick you if it can. Your internal dialogue will start saying things like, oh, it's just one cookie, one time. This is the weekend. It's no big deal. Okay. Now, the other part of your internal dialogue is warning you, oh, if you do it now, you're going to do it again, and that kind of thing. But the bottom line is, it's like an argument within yourself. And the more you focus on what's happening with that argument within yourself, the easier it will become to say to yourself, no, I need to do this. This is the best thing. And I want you to think about that when you're thinking about how hard it is to attend every class. Right now, with so much being online, a lot of students are struggling with classes. And for some single moms, I think some would actually see it maybe as a better solution to be home. Now, when I was doing that, when I was working on my first degree and raising my children, and by the way, the youngest one was 8 months old and I was 30 when I got to start college. We didn't have computers back then, and we could not possibly, if we'd had the pandemic like we have going on right now, we would not have been able to continue. It would not have been possible. I was an English major, English professor also. I was an English major, and that meant writing a lot of papers. And it's hard to write papers at home when you have small children, isn't it? And a house full of them. Well, ladies, back then, we didn't have internet. We had to do that on typewriters. And if you made a mistake typing on a typewriter, what happened next was you backspaced with whiteout. Okay. So thankfully, we have technology now that can make it so that even in a pandemic, you can continue your education. You can continue to move forward. But sometimes, and especially when there's a lot of social isolation, and we're seeing more and more of that as a serious problem, your internal dialogue can turn around and tell you negative things. It can tell you, I really am too tired to do that. I think I'm just going to drop out of one of my classes, and maybe that will make it easier. Well, all of those things are negative internal dialogue. Sometimes you do have to make adjustments. But the most important thing is remembering that your conscience, your subconscious, is going to believe what you tell it. It's going to believe what you allow it to continue saying. So, for example, you wake up in the morning. If you say to yourself, gosh, I'm just too tired today. I've got that blended class. I've got to go on campus, but I'm just too tired today. If you say it enough, you'll believe it, and then maybe later regret it. But if you do the opposite, if you say to yourself, I'm really tired, I wish I didn't have to today, but I'm going to, no matter what, I'm going to go to that class because I know I need it. That's how you use internal dialogue. And ladies, I want to share with you, Joy, if you go on to the next one, and I don't want to use up too much of our time. Another thing that helps dramatically, folks, and at first when you hear me say this, you're going to be thinking, well, that's just one more thing to have to do. But your internal dialogue really loves for you to write about yourself. Okay, it loves for you to do things like journaling, and it can be very, very informal. And hopefully, Jassy will get to stay. Is that Jassy that was having to leave in a minute? Okay, we'll get to stay for just a minute, and you probably have a class. But the beginning, and I want us to stay on this, but perfectly imperfect that you saw at the beginning and the name of this. None of us are perfect, folks. We all struggle. But that is a literary journal that was written. I taught a creative writing class at the women's prison. And that's the title that was created by convicted felons who had then been sentenced to the Women in Recovery program that George Kaiser started, but they're convicted felons, serving sentences. And this is one of the poems that one of the prisoners did. I can't give you their names because that's confidential. But the name of the poem is an I am poem. And I give them a little instruction on how to develop it. But just listen to this. And all of them, by the way, are single moms. All of them are single moms. Now, the crimes they commit are very different than the crimes men commit. Most of these are nonviolent, either drug-related or due to dependency on men, okay, that were not good. Listen to this. It's an I am poem. I am perfectly imperfect, wondering what God's purpose was and is for me. I see, I wish, I can, I will and I shall accomplish something meaningful in my life. I want to make a difference in someone's life, in my life, in my children's lives. I am perfectly imperfect. Now, this lady continued to tell herself positive things. And even when every family member had given up on her and seeing her sent away to prison and lose her children, she has her children back. She's a working person going to college. And would you go to the next one, Joy, real quick? This is another piece by one of the ladies, and I will close with this one. Remembering, please, the power of internal dialogue, ladies, what you tell yourself about yourself. What I did was to look above those naysayers, right above their head, and envision me walking across that stage in my cap and gown. And I have 3 degrees now, and I'm actually working on an associate's degree in criminal justice right now, even though I have a bachelor's, a master's, and most of a doctorate degree. This also was written by one of these ladies. And the topic, of course, was being the hero of your own life. It says, I am the hero of my own life. Notice the positivity. I am the things I thought I never would or could be. I am determined to wake up every morning with a smile upon my face, grateful for who I am, for who I get to be, for who I can yet become. I make the decision to live every day like it is the last day of my life. I choose to bring joy and laughter to the people who are around me through wisdom and laughter. I love myself today, and yes, that is the key. I am the hero of my own life. So again, imagine when a person tells themselves these things, even when you're tired, even when you're struggling. Practice. Don't give up on telling yourself the truth about yourself. And that is, you're college students. You've already beat the odds. You are single moms in college. You have what it takes. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. And Descartes was a famous scientific thinker who lived in the 1600s. He said, I think, therefore I am. Thank you. Any questions?
So please feel free to speak and turn off your turn the audio back on. So since
no,
yeah,
I have no question.
I like this internal talk. Sometimes I just see myself talking to myself. When I'm tired, I tend to be negative, and then when I wake up, then it's positive. I think
we all do that. And again, we can't not do it. It's always there, and it's there every moment of your life, 24 hours a day. So you can see, even just with that, what an impact it has. That's the idea of, again, listening to our internal dialogue and learning to direct it. Miss Joey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, this is our Q&A. So Jonica and Lynn, please feel free to ask any questions. I would say Karen is my supervisor also. She just retired, but I just admire her. She's a good friend also. So I just learned so much from her. So feel free to grasp this opportunity to ask her questions. Jonica is the president of our SWAP student organization. So she leads the students here.
That's wonderful. And just comments also, even if you don't have questions, comments about the struggles that you're having, the good things, the bad things. I promise you that you probably have not yet experienced anything I didn't. I have 3 sons and 2 daughters. The first is a daughter, the youngest is a daughter, and I have 3 boys in the middle. As teenagers, I remember nailing down their bedroom windows so they couldn't sneak out at night, right? Sound familiar? Or if you don't have children near that age group yet, there are, of course, issues and difficulties with every age group. You should admire yourselves for having the courage. Only 1%, folks, of the nation's single moms end up in college. Think of that. You have beat the odds already. You're already a success by being there. So now it's about not letting the struggles that go with everyday life get you down. And with the pandemic, again, it's so important to keep telling yourself the positive things. So one thing to keep reminding yourself is that you are a college student. You're not just thinking about it. You did it. You are. And now it's moving forward and continuing to be successful. And Ms. Joe, I'd also like to be sure that if any of the ladies in the group, whether they were here today or not, if they would like to just talk sometime about something that they're dealing with or something that they're facing, I am available for that. I am teaching part-time at TCC, and I'm teaching the developmental reading or writing classes because those students, some are single parents, some are not, but they struggle so much and oftentimes did not have a supportive background. But even those who did, they're there. Just think of that. Think about if you didn't have any support and you didn't have anything around you that allows you to think of yourself as a student, and yet there they are. There they are. That's amazing. And it is amazing that single moms are doing that too. So whatever else is going on in your life, it's so important to keep that internal dialogue positive. And I want to add too, real quickly, since we do have just a minute, all 5 of my children have at least some college. My youngest daughter, who often went to classes with me because she was too young, and I didn't leave teenagers taking care of teenagers. Believe me, that's the worst thing you can do. Be better off to leave them with a 2-year-old. Okay? Teenagers don't make good decisions. Their brain's not there yet. But my youngest daughter is actually an English professor at Portland State University, and she is the head of their intercultural engagement program there. She doesn't remember a day when I wasn't in college, but there's 13 years between her and my oldest daughter, who was, several years older when I started to college. But they have tremendous respect for what it took to do it. They have tremendous respect for doing it. And folks, it's the key to providing a better future for them, for yourself, for them, and for them to find their own way through positive internal dialogue. I started, when Joy asked me for a professional picture, I started to just send a picture of me sitting in my office, and I'm in my home office right now. But I decided, no, I'm not going to do that, because I think it's important to see where you can go. Okay, that's my home in Louisiana. But that was my home in Louisiana after 20 years in education leadership positions. Not before. I've lived in a travel trailer. I've lived with all of us in a 1-bedroom apartment, low income. I've been in situations where if my children were going to have food every day, the 5 of them, I didn't eat for 3 days in a row. It's all about getting that education so the choices are in your hands. You have the keys that open the door. So I hope that that will continue to be encouraging to you. And again, folks, I'm on Northeast Campus on Monday and Tuesday mornings. Well, Monday I'm there on the morning, and Tuesday I'm there in the afternoon at 1. I'm at Southeast Campus on Thursday mornings. I am glad to talk with you. Joy, you can give them my cell phone number, any of the single moms, and my mail address. In any time, I am very glad to talk with you about what you're experiencing. And don't forget to write. Okay?
Great.
Just write stuff down. Cuss somebody out and then turn it into something positive. Okay? All right.
I have a question. So with your kids' school, did you ever
I can't hear her, Joy.
Let's see. Yeah, the Zoom is not working too well today, so I'm gonna repeat. Jonica, if you want to slow down, you're welcome.
Okay. So did you ever have a situation?
Did you ever have a situation
where the schools discriminated against you because you were divorced?
that the school discriminated against you because you're divorced?
Yes.
Your children's schools?
Your children's schools?
Yes.
Yes.
How did you resolve that?
How did you resolve that?
That's a very interesting question, and I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. During my time period, women didn't get divorced. Men could get a divorce, and nobody thought anything about it. But a divorced woman was shunned, completely shunned. And the idea then of a divorced woman going to college, we were supposed to be on welfare and things like that during that time period. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, I'm sorry to hear that that kind of thing is still continuing. Here's where you're Miss Jonica. Here's where, Jonica, you've got to be really, really careful with your internal dialogue. First of all, whatever they say, just raise your head and stand up a little taller. Okay?
Oh, they're not saying something. It's something that the school did.
What is she saying, Joy?
Okay, can you repeat?
Can you maybe put your phone on speakerphone?
Well, it's okay. The Zoom is not working.
Okay.
Joy, what is she saying? What was her question?
Okay.
So my kids' school, they send home a behavior folder. Well, in
her son's homeschool, they send him a behavior folder.
And they send it home on Thursdays.
They send it with him on Thursdays.
And I have gone before the board and I've requested them to be sent home on Friday. That way.
Okay, so she has gone to the school board and asked them to have it on Fridays.
That way it is fair for all the divorced parents of the children. That way not one parent on the divorce side is getting like the behavior folder and the other parent isn't.
Okay, that way all the single divorced parents can attend, right?
That way they get to see the folder equally.
That way they receive the folder equally.
Oh, so am I understanding, Jonica, that your son is not getting it on time, or
Only his father gets the folder. I do not get the folder at
Only his
all.
father gets the folder, but she couldn't get the folder at all.
oh,
Because
well,
the way
that's abstract discrimination. That is absolute discrimination. So you went to get it, or you asked to receive it instead of the father?
No, I requested that the
No,
folder
she requests that.
on Fridays.
That
That way,
yeah, she requested to have it on Fridays. That way she could attend.
Oh, okay. Could attend
No.
the meeting to deal with
no,
it.
it's not a meeting. It's just a folder.
Just the folder, yeah. That way she could receive that folder.
Yeah, so you could receive that folder. Okay. And they're not willing to do that at all.
Because it is inconvenient for the teacher.
Because it's inconvenient for them.
Because it's inconvenient. Okay.
The majority of the people affected by this are men, though.
The majority of the people who are affected are men?
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm the only mother affected.
Yeah.
A lot of the fathers are affected by this because most of the fathers, they do not get to see their child through the week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's the only mother who was affected. Most of the men were affected because they couldn't see the child during the week.
But because most visitations occur on the weekends, if they did it on Fridays, then every other week, the alternating parent would get the folder. That way, divorced parents would have equal opportunity to see the behavior folders.
Okay, could you break it down? That way.
All right, so if they did it on Fridays.
If they do it on Fridays?
Parents would have equal
Parents
opportunity.
will have equal opportunity
to see the behavior folder.
to see the behavior.
So moms and dads would have access if they did it on a Friday.
Correct.
And that was your request.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, Jonica, who have you talked to about it? I was also a high school principal for a number of years. Who have you talked to about it?
No one currently. It was announced yesterday. So
it was what?
It was announced yesterday.
It was announced yesterday.
Okay.
Before the school year began.
Before the school year began?
About it.
Before the school year began, what?
A PTA meeting was held about it.
A PTA meeting was held about it.
So now it's official that they've already chosen the day to be Thursday.
So it's official. They've already chosen the Thursday as the official day.
Okay, so a group has voted on it?
A group has. Apparently.
Were you able to be at that meeting?
That meeting I do not know about. I am the vice president of my kids' PTA.
She's the vice president of her kids' PTA.
And we did not get a vote on what day the folder went out.
We did not get a vote on which day.
Oh, okay.
So,
my suggestion, Jonica, is that you need to talk to someone who is in authority. And my suggestion is to and I think you would do this, to present the problem, the issue, in a respectful way, not in any sort of argumentative way, but that it makes it impossible for you, and you believe that there are probably others, and your goal, if I'm understanding you, your goal is to make it so that moms and dads can be there. That's the goal, right?
Not be there, but receive it and have the opportunity to view it.
Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, Jonica. Can you repeat that? I have a little hard time hearing from my computer too. So it's Zoom, I guess.
Not to be there, but to have equal opportunity to view the folder.
Not to be there, but to have the equal opportunity to view the folder.
Okay. Yeah, to view the folder. Okay. It's still going to be a similar thing. You need to talk with someone that's in authority and discuss it. Make an appointment so it's not a 5 or 10 minute thing on the side for them. Make an appointment with someone, and it can be whoever you believe is authority that's most closely connected to the group making the decision. In some schools, it would be an assistant principal, but find out, and you may already know, who those folks that are decision makers like that, who they report to, and who's in charge of organizing this, of making it, pulling it together for the votes, that kind of thing. First of all, you need to express your concern, express your reason, and give them an opportunity to, what would be great would be if they would invite you to discuss it, to talk, discuss it, and see if it can be reconsidered. But if you feel discriminated against, and it does sound very much like that, you absolutely need to step up, and that's what you're trying to figure out how to do, and make sure that they're aware of the situation. If you don't get any response from that, go to the next level. Make an appointment with the principal. I don't know what your school situation is, size-wise, how many administrators they have. Some schools will have an assistant principal in charge of different things. This one doesn't. Okay, you're saying it doesn't. So is there just one assistant principal and one principal?
One principal.
Just one principal.
principal.
So that's who you need to talk to. And again, your goal is to get him to understand
Sure.
that she is a she.
Mm-hmm.
It's a she. Okay, good. To understand that you really want to be more involved, and that that decision is making it impossible for you to be more involved. And, I really suggest that you do that and do it soon. And I would love it if you would get in contact with me and talk to me about the result, and see what the attitude is, what they say, this person says, as far as choices. Is there some reason that it can't be the way that you're asking for it to be?
The teachers find it inconvenient.
The teacher find
It inconvenient.
the teacher find it inconvenient.
Yeah. Well, that's not good enough. Okay, that's not good enough. So if you don't get a response that is supportive from the principal, then you might, the next step might be to meet with the principal and that teacher. Okay, so you've got them both in the room at the same time, where it can become a discussion. But I would love to know the outcome. I hope that you will do that. You need to talk with someone who has the ability to open a discussion about possible change. That's what you need to do, not just carry it yourself. Okay?
I'm actually on the way to host an event for the teachers and staff at the school.
So she's actually on her way to post an event for the teacher for that school,
For the school staff.
for the school staff.
Yes.
You are today?
Yes, I've got to be there at 3:30.
Yes.
I have to run to Reese's and pick up about 20 items. We're preparing dinner for them tonight.
Oh, she's trying to get there at 3:30 to get some stuff ready for that event.
Okay. And Jonica, depending on what relationship you have with that teacher, of course, I don't know.
It's not the teacher,
Feel
it's
like
the
you could
principal.
talk to that
It's the
teacher.
principal. Mhm. She
It's the
said it's
same-
not the teacher. It's
Oh,
a
it's the
principal.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you if you have to go because it's what? It's not quite 3 yet.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, that's great.
yeah,
We're just
I
around the correct time.
would love to know what action you decide to take. And remember again, internal dialogue. Keep telling yourself the positive things. That will help you not feel so frustrated by it. And it will also help you keep working to resolve it in a positive way. You're much more likely to get the outcome you want, even if it takes time, if you keep the dialogue positive. Okay? If I can help you in any way, please contact me. Okay?
Yes, I will share if you don't, if you agree, Karen, that I would give your cell phone to her if whenever she needs. Yeah, I can tell you, she's perfect too. She's so experienced administratively, and she handles everything so well. I mean, we just all miss her so much. I'm glad you're there, part-time there, partially.
Well, I appreciate you very much too,
Yeah.
Joy. It's a good
Thank
group.
you.
But don't let it get you down, Jonathan. Don't let the negative internal dialogue start making the decisions. Turn it around. Let it become the positive dialogue that things can change, that you want to get all the facts, all the facts. We know that it's the convenience for the faculty person. Well, that is obvious. But are there reasons that are unavoidable in her life? What are the facts, and how can we go about getting them to want to cooperate and change? Because that's your goal. Excuse me.
It's not just one teacher, it is all 49 teachers.
Not just one teacher, all 49 teachers.
They're voting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you have to start somewhere, and the place to start is with one person that you know has much responsibility in influencing. And if you believe that it's an inconvenience for the teacher and that that's why these other people are voting for that, then that's where to start. Okay.
Yeah.
When are you going to be seeing this person again?
I don't know. I might see them this afternoon.
She might see them this afternoon. She doesn't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if it seems appropriate at the time, you might just say, would like to talk with you, and ask them to give you a convenient time when you could sit down for a few minutes. Okay.
That sounds great.
Be sure you have my contact information. I will help you in any way I can.
I'll get it, Joy.
And congratulations on being in college. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So thank you so
Glad
much.
to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Karen. And for the rest of you, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And if you need to talk to Miss Karen, I would share her cell phone number with you. And next, I'd like to share a few resources. Miss Karen, if you're busy, feel free to leave, but feel free to stay also. So yes.
You all's meeting, so I will let you go. But be sure they know my email and give them my cell phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joy, I do that with my students even. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. So good.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye. So not class, but everybody. So yesterday, a lady called Katie approached me. This is her phone number, 568-1137. She's in Tulsa. She's from Feed the Hunger Free Oklahoma. This is an organization that they're looking for a full-time customer service center opening. It's a full-time position. And then if you're interested, just give her a call over here, 918-568-1138. Also at TCC, there's also a bilingual job need. I told them I would share this with you. At TCC, it's a part-time job, I think, but this one is a Spanish-speaking part-time job to tutor for TRIO. So that's one. And one other thing is that the one that I discussed last Thursday, the last event for Women's Empowered webinar. It's on November the 5th, Thursday. It's at 4:30. The event is 5 to 8:30 p.m. It's about overcoming math fears and different counseling or a scholarship, 1,000 given. You do need to register by November 4th at 8 a.m. Here's the website. So that's the event we announced, and every participant will receive $5 gift card. So one other thing is that TCC's Symphony is offering an event this Saturday at Botanic Garden. The Tulsa Botanic Garden also have pumpkin patch. So this event ticket would be discounted for TCC students. So this is the website if you're planning to bring your kiddos there. Under 2 is free. And they're gonna play, there's food, music. So $5 for TCC students if you register over here. So another issue is we're trying to bring out some ideas for Mom's Weekend Back to Rent. That's gonna be, I'm gonna talk to Dr. Dickens since we do have a little money that we are supposed to have food. Normally from the foundation grant, I'm gonna ask Dr. Dickens that if I'm collecting ideas from you. Melanie had brainstormed some ideas. You see us on my desktop. So feel free to let me know. Let me see. I'm gonna have to. Let's see.
Yeah, Joy, I have to run.
Okay, so thank you, Janica, and I think that's it for today. I was follow up with email with you, Janica, and
right.
The list is there. We have games, board game, think games, and everything. So in the bag, we want to keep the bag there for rent for the weekend, for moms to rent out for the weekend. So think about some ideas. What would you guys need? So, all right, we're here. I respect your time. So thank you so much. And Janica, we'll talk and we'll go through email